So be listening to the answers to those questions. Would you welcome Chad Bauer to the 1 Million Cup stage?
Thank you, Jason. Well, thanks for all for coming. I know some of you. This is really weird having an echo on me, but I've met many of you in the room. Some of you I know, some of you don't know. But anyway, college summer baseball. We start Tuesday. We're going to will summer here one way or another, guys. I mean, this weather's ridiculous. But Tuesday night we start. We start our 4th season in Rockford. Real excited about it. We're going to start our journey on Tuesday. We're going to play 72 games in about 76 days. I got all kinds of guys from different colleges from across the country coming up here to play. That's what our roster is built with. Why do these guys come up here to play? Well, number one reason they come up here to play, they want to get noticed by scouts. And we do have scouts at our game. Almost every game we got scouts. Last year, we had 9 guys drafted in last June's draft. In the 2 drafts we've been a part of, we've had 13 guys drafted. Last year, we actually had a 3rd-round pick from University of Illinois that played for us in 17. He got drafted in June and signed for $600,000. So these guys can make a little money before they even become real big pros. Our league overall, we're in the Northwoods League. Last year was our 25th season. In those 25 years, we've put 215 guys in the major leagues. If you stick around and watch the video after, you're going to see some really big names up there. Max Scherzer, Chris Sale. Those 2 could be Hall of Famers someday. Curtis Granderson. Ben Zobrist, current Cub, used to play in our league back in the early 2000s. That's when he played there. So he played up in Wausau. But very unique league. You guys have been familiar with baseball in Rockford in the past. They used to play down at Marinelli. That was an affiliated team. That was a team that had a major league connection. Those guys had already been drafted. They were going to go work their way up through the system and hopefully someday become major leaguers. My guys are college guys. What they're going to do is they're trying to get to the point where they can be drafted and put on one of those teams. So when the Cubs, I think was the last one here, when they left town, an independent league team took their place and built a stadium out by Riverside, where now the new hospital is located. But the baseball stadium was out there, I think in 2006 was their first season out there. Independent league teams are different from what we are. So the 2 teams that were prior to us, the Riverhawks and Aviators, were independent league teams. And what that is, and what I always liken it to, is these guys have been cut, they weren't drafted, or they got injured. Jokingly, I'll say, these are guys that really just don't want to grow up and get a real job. They want to keep playing baseball. Our league has guys with futures, and that's evidenced by the number of guys we had drafted. If you look at the overall league, we got 22 teams in our league this year. Last year we had 20. So of the 20 teams, we had about 1 out of every 6 guys that gets drafted in the Major League Draft plays in our league. So you're looking at about 1,200 kids that get drafted every year. About 200 of those guys are at one time or another playing the Northwoods League. That's how good our talent is. So on the field we have great talent, but it's really not about on the field. What this is about is it's about entertainment, and that's what we are. We're an entertainment company. We want to provide people with a good night out. I tell my staff, the interns came in last week. We hire a lot of interns to help out. They all got to get experience, whether it's marketing, stadium ops, webcasting, broadcasting. We hire all these kids, bring them in, and what they do is they learn, get a lot of experience and learn the craft in a real-time environment. It's very hands-on. I got Allison here from our staff. She was an intern last year. We brought her back this year to work with us as a seasonal employee, and now she's managing the interns. So it's a good thing. But bringing these kids in, getting a real experience, so it's not only a training ground for the players, it's a training ground for our staff. And I told our staff last week when they came in, you're going to make a difference in people's lives for a day. Whether it's that family that has some kids at the game, and these kids are talking to the players after the game, getting autographs in the Hall of Fame auto autograph zone, and they're talking to, I feel like NASCAR guy, I'm plugging sponsors already. In the Hall of Fame autograph zone, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna talk to these players and interact with them. And these kids have no idea this isn't a major leaguer yet. But we're making a good experience with them. We're making an experience with other people that are just out. Maybe they're on a date. Maybe they're just hanging out some night. And maybe you're a senior citizen, you're at the game. And, hey, let's go to a game tonight. It's a nice night out. You're going to have some good food. You're going to get to talk. The cool thing about baseball, you can actually talk during a game and engage with other people. And it's a social event. That's what we tell people it is. This isn't it's really not a sporting event. It's a social event. You can interact with other people during the game because of the way the game is structured pace-wise. You got your breaks between innings where we do all of our fun stuff on the field with promotions and things like that. We do different giveaways during some of those events. Every Saturday night this year, we're going to blow fireworks off. I don't know how many of you have been to a Rivets game. Boy, we come out, I'd strongly suggest you come out come out on a Saturday night when we have our fireworks. Our fireworks shows they're dynamite. You got a guy that's local and he blows them off, and he puts on a heck of a 12-minute show. I've had people on the way out say, this is better than most cities. Well, our shells aren't as big because they're a little bit lower because we don't have to cover as much space, but it is a really good show. But I tell these kids, again, you're going to make a difference in someone's life. And that's what's so cool about what we do. And that's, part of the reason what I do is I got hooked on it. I used to program computers, did that for 15 years, was in the financial industry doing it. And I kind of got tired of dealing with some of the people on the East Coast. And I just love baseball. And it came to a point of what tripped my wire. And the thing that really tripped my wire I found after doing all this, it's not working with the players necessarily. It's not, the baseball side is cool and everything, but I'm on the dark side of baseball. I got to raise money for these guys so I can get the buses to where they got to go, pay for the visiting team, we pay for their hotel room, we provide them meals to eat by doing deals with different eating establishments in town. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are happening that the average person doesn't know. And everyone asks me, what do you do in the off season? Well, it's very interesting. Our off seasons have become a lot less. I've been involved in this since 2006, 2007. I've been involved in it daily since about 2011. The off seasons every year get less and less. I mean, we're going to be selling in August already for next season. And I've found it very hard to sell in the fall. We go out and I talk to a lot of people in the fall, and usually the answer I get is, well, we're going to be budgeting pretty soon, so come back in January when our budget's set. So I come back in January, and then they say, well, why don't you come back when the weather turns in the spring? And this year the weather didn't turn. And that's why I was up till 4 a.m. last night trying to get artwork from certain sponsors, and I'm just like, every year's like this, but this year's really bad with that. I mean, I've got more sponsors than we ever had, but it's really challenging trying to get everything together, plus get the stadium ready. We've got, thank God the intern showed up last week. They actually edged the entire field yesterday. I went out there for the first hour and showed them how to set up the edger and set the lines up, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our shovels and we're going to dig this part away and put that out back, and so we've got it all edged. We have to put more material in, so now I need some good weather. Good dry weather with some heat would help me a lot right now. But we do that. I got a pipe that's broke at the ballpark, so I wear a lot of hats. Thank God Allison's she's handling most of our marketing now, so I'm letting her run. I just need to know what she's doing occasionally, so she's pretty self-sufficient, which is good. Talent-wise this year, we've got a new coach this year. Josh Keim's coming from Quincy. He's an assistant coach there. We had Brian Smith, the first coach we ever had, the guy who, he was with Windy City when I got him. Windy City's owner called him up in the off season and called me up and said, hey, I'd like to take Brian back. We got an opening here. I looked at Brian and said, what do you think? And he's like, well, I live in Aurora. It'd kind of be nice to be close to home. And get paid double what you're paying me. So I said, hey, I can't blame you. Go ahead. So Brian, I said, who do you recommend? And Brian said, we had an assistant coach, Josh Keim, our first year. And he said, I think Josh is ready to take a head job. So we're bringing him in this year. And he's actually showing up tomorrow. And we're going to do workouts this weekend as the guys start trickling in. Our guys need host families, so if anyone's got an empty bedroom in their house and would like to have a young 20-something-year-old guy, 19-year-old guy hanging around that may become a pro someday, and me may be able to call him when he gets to Wrigley and say, hey, I need 4 tickets. And this really happens. But typically, you get a lifelong bond with these guys when they come into your house for the summer. If you have kids there, it's a great experience too. Like Chris Wakoyak, he's going to host this year because he's got a new house. He's got plenty of space now. And he's got kids, and his kids are going to look at our players and be like, God, that's a big brother for me. So that's a cool thing. Actually, he's not a host family yet. I just saw him come in the door and said, hey, you're going to be a host family. But yeah, and Chris is also doing some of our merch for us, so we're getting that rolled in this week. So a lot of things are happening at the ballpark right now. But yeah, trying to think what else. We got a few local guys on the team this year. We got Zach Jones. He pitched at Rockford University this year, and he actually was the pitcher of the year in their conference. Got a kid from Stillman Valley. I think his last name's Wilhite. I don't know the roster real well. I apologize. I'm so busy doing everything else. I let my coach handle that. So delegation is key. I'm getting better at it. Right, Allison? We got a kid from Stillman Valley who's at University of Minnesota. He's an outfielder there, and he's a really good player. He's coming up the food chain, and he'll get a lot of at-bats. He might get 200 at-bats this summer, which is phenomenal. These kids get a ton of playing time. And probably the most important thing that they learn how to live the lifestyle of a minor league player before they get there. So there's other college summer leagues in the country. There's probably another 40 of them. A lot of you have heard of Cape Cod League. It's been around for 100 years. Play up in Massachusetts. Kind of legendary. We're talent-wise, they still get the best kids. They get the best of the best. I mean, every one of their pitchers throws 90 plus. I mean, our league, we probably got about, I'd say 50% of them are pounding 90 plus, maybe a little bit more even, maybe 2/3. But they get the best. But we actually send more players into the draft than they do because our league's bigger. Yeah, talent-wise, our league's very talented. And our league plays more games than any other of these leagues. So while the Cape Cod League's playing like 45 or 50 games, we're playing 72 in 76 days. So what are these guys going to get out of that? They're going to learn the lifestyle. They're going to learn how you get up every morning, go do your morning workout. You're going to have to go stretch out and eat. You got to get to the ballpark on time and take your pregame. Between the pregame and the game time, you got to hang out and maybe get a little more food. Then you're going to play the game. Then after the game, you're going to ice yourself up, whatever you got to do, eat your food. You're going to go figure out that you got to get some sleep, and then you're going to do it all over again the next day. Well, you may have to get on a bus at 6:30 in the morning so we can get to Traverse City, Michigan. And you're going to have to learn how to sleep on a bus when we're coming back from Traverse City, Michigan, because we got a game the next day at 6:30 at night. So the mental grind that these guys face is what the scouts are also looking at during this process. Every year we get to July, these guys start hitting the wall. Our staff starts hitting the wall. It's crazy. We'll wake up middle of the week and we're like, in the middle of a 6-game homestand, we're like, what day of the week is it? Which game are we on? It's really bizarre, but it does happen. But these guys are learning to live the lifestyle. So when they get to the minor league next year, they've already got a rookie league season under their belt. And we've done studies within our league. We are outperforming every other college summer league right now with our guys when they get their first, second years. Our guys are so well prepared. They already got the lifestyle thing down. They know what they got to do. They know the mental grind. And that's one of the reasons our league's becoming so successful. A couple things about our league. Our league as a whole, very innovative league. The gentleman named Dick Raditz Jr. founded the league. His dad was a pitcher in Major League Baseball for the Red Sox. Still today holds the record for most strikeouts by a relief pitcher in a season back in, I think, '63. He was huge and he threw hard. But one of the things about our league that's very unique is our league's got a front office staff of about five or six people. We've actually got our own IT guy on staff. I don't think there's any other college summer league for certain, and probably even minor league that has an IT guy on staff. And what we've done with that IT guy is he designed our websites, and yes, they do need to be renovated, and they're probably going to get it next year. But we've developed our own ticket system. So we've got a ticket system that every team uses in our league. And I think the idea someday, and I'm sure it's in back of the owner's head, is we can take this ticket system and start selling it to other leagues to use. We've developed our own brand of beer. We have 5-tool ale. We went to a brewer, had them brew up a batch of beer, and now we got this I'm trying to think of what the kind of beer it is. It's not a vanilla Kolsch, but it's a very light beer for summer. But it's a good beer. And the idea behind that is we get 1.4 million fans in our ballpark every year throughout the league. We can market to all these people. We can reach a lot of people with that beer. Another thing we're doing is we're building our own scoring system right now. That's another thing that we will be able to sell to other leagues. We've also developed a player system with player contracts. So it's all online now. All the player has to do is fills out a contract. It has insurance information on it. It has other information. One of the clauses our league had in it that was very innovative. If you play in our league, we put in there that in the future we get you for 1 day a year. So if you become really good, we can go back to you and say, hey, you signed this contract for us. We'd like you to do this event for us. And the teams will pay them for the event, or the league will pay them for the event. But we usually get a discounted rate, and it's just a cool thing to have in our contracts, which is pretty smart and innovative when they started this league. Another thing I was telling Ben earlier, we pay for one of the reasons we pay for the visiting team when they come in, we pay for their hotels and we pay or provide their meals. One of the reasons they did that when they started the league was back in minor league day, there were teams that would come to town and they'd skip town after they got the beat down the night before. They'd just race out of town without paying their bills. And they'd call the team would be calling the home team and complaining about it. And the home team's like, well, we don't have any control over it. Well, our league said, you know what, we're not going to do it that way. Why have the bad relationship? Home team, you take care of this stuff. So a lot of really cool things have evolved in our league over time. With that, I guess I'll take some questions. And
before we get to your questions, we do ask every presenter to answer 3 important questions as part of their presentation.
Yes.
This is your opportunity as a listener in our audience to tell us what you heard, and then we'll open it up to general Q&A with the catch box. The first question is, this is silly. I feel like it's silly, but we got to do it. It's in the rules. The first question is, what is the product or service? In your words. It is. It's played with a ball. Soccer. Family entertainment. Family entertainment, okay. See, this is not so obvious. All right, family entertainment, I like it. Anything else that you heard in your words? A good way to enjoy baseball. Yes. It's not soccer.
It is not.
It's not soccer. It's a good answer, though. Second question is, who's the target audience? Anyone? Yeah, anyone who enjoys a night watching baseball? Something to do with the kids on a Saturday night, right? That was
any night.
Any night?
Yeah, we play every night of the week. So if you look at our schedule, we got pocket schedules up here. We've also got this thing called the Gold Card. Y'all going to want to take one of these. We got some great offers from some of our sponsors on the back, as well as some ticket offers from us and some food offers from us. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Actually, we thought of the idea last year and we didn't develop it properly. One of the other teams took my idea and ran with it and built stickers on the card and put 4 stickers on every. Yeah, so every one of these has like 4 stickers on the back for different companies. We got Mardonado, we got 640 Meats, a lot of different range companies. So you see high schools selling these. We'll sell these at the ballpark. We're also going to give a bunch of them away. Anybody that's a sponsor of ours, we give enough for their employees or clients, and it's a good way to make the world go round.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
So the third question is, what's amazing about the management team? Mm-hmm. Innovation, yes, absolutely. Other things you heard?
They work really hard.
They do. They work really hard. Absolutely.
Yeah.
72 games in 76 days.
Yes, 36 home games.
Coordinated by you and your team.
Yes, and we do
That's
other
amazing.
events at the ballpark. We've done truck shows, car shows. We're doing some concerts this year.
Man, that's intense. Other things you heard which were amazing about the management team?
They wear a lot of hats.
They do wear a lot of hats. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's one of the cool things about the job. It's also one of the curses of the job.
How's it compare to programming?
Oh, it's so much more fun. I mean, if I had to stayed up till 4 in the morning doing programming last night, I'd be miserable. Today, I'm like, just give me some coffee and let's go.
All right, we're going to open up to general Q&A with the catch box, courtesy of City of Rockford. First question out there. Who's got the first question?
How do you as your team find your talent? Do you have like scouts or?
So what we do is number of teams do it differently. Some GMs really want the control of it and love dabbling with the player side. I'd love to do that, but I also know that it's not my place. I hire a coach. I hire a coach that's got connections. He goes and calls a lot of his college coaches. College coaches are contacting us all the time. And what I do is I let my coach vet everybody that he wants to go after or that calls them. And college coaches are obviously placing these guys in our league because they want their players to get better. A lot of times we get guys that were highly recruited out of high school but didn't get the playing time because a junior or senior was in their path. And then what they do is they come to our league and get a ton of playing time in the summer and we send them back. And we've got 2 kids that are probably going to get drafted in June that will almost definitely get drafted in June. One's from LSU, Zach Watson. He's probably he's certainly a top 10 round pick, but he came up to our team. He actually got playing time at LSU as a freshman, but he really developed as a player. We had a catcher, Hunter Fiducia, got drafted last year. He went to LSU the same way. He came out of junior college, was going to LSU. LSU was like, get him high reps. He had a killer summer. Scouts are on the radar. Last year gets drafted in 11th round. But I let the coaches really put your guys on the field and then go that way with it versus me dabbling with it. Yep.
How many people are on your roster?
We got 30 guys on our roster. We have 16 pitchers and 14 position players, and that's a league rule. Part of the reason we have that rule is we play so many games, so we don't want to overpitch people. And we're going to have some guys coming and going. What's going to happen is there's going to be guys that come in at the beginning of the season and they've already pitched 50 innings, and the college coach is going to be like, you know what, 25 more and you're shut down. And there's going to be some guys that rode the bench all spring, and they're going to come in and it's like, tally ho, let's go. You're going to pitch as much as you can this summer. So there's a lot of ebb and flow on the roster, but I think the core guys, usually offensive guys, are usually the core guys, and they'll be around most of the season. And then we get guys getting injured. And occasionally you get a guy that's homesick and misses his girlfriend, so he wants to shut it down and go home. And scouts look for that too. They want to know the guys who are going to be the gamers who want to handle it and go all the way through it. So it's interesting. Anything else?
The rules are you have to throw the catch box, otherwise we can't hear you on. Oh, there we go.
It's called catch box for a reason, right?
It is the catch box for a reason.
That's why I'm a banker, not a baseball player. Do the guys age out of the league? Because you said it's a college thing.
Yes.
So is there an age limit?
The only requirement we have for players is that you have college eligibility remaining. So if you didn't play ball in college and you're still pretty good.
Okay, that disqualifies.
But yeah, so college eligibility is what we look for. Occasionally we do have a rule that we can get 2 kids from a high school level, like seniors in high school. And we actually almost took one in 2 years ago, and I wish we would have. It didn't fit his schedule. He actually wound up being the 6th overall pick in the draft out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. He got drafted by the Mets. He only signed for $4.5 million. But I know his dad pretty well, and his dad came down. A funny story, his dad came down, calls me up, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Parents calling me about getting their kid on the team. Those are the calls I dread. But he calls me up and says, yeah, I don't know if you heard Jared's pretty good. I said, well, why don't you have him come down to BP? And, he was a junior in high school at the time. And he came down to BP, and he put on a flippin' show. It was unreal. I mean, our coach is out there, and he's throwing BP at him, and you get 10 cuts that you can do anything you want with, because the other stuff's kind of situational hitting. He regimentally, left-handed stick, regimentally went left center, right center, left center, right center. He one-hopped the fence out of those 10 cuts. He could have jerked every one of them out of the yard. He one-hopped the fence 5 times out of the 10. Everything was a line drive off the bat. The kid was unbelievable. And he wound up 2 years later getting drafted with the 6th overall pick in the draft. He wound up getting traded after his first season in minor leagues. Now he's with Seattle. And I would say in 2 years you're going to hear the name Jared Klenick. He's an unbelievable plow player. It's very cool to watch, though, and you see the college guys coming off the field and like, who's that kid? It was pretty wild.
We've got time for one more question.
Someone's got to have a question.
I've got a question.
Yes.
So you have 72 games in 76 days. Talk to us a little bit about how that all gets coordinated.
Okay.
Because I feel like you're like you're general manager, but that's kind of like an entrepreneurial thing too.
Oh, yeah, very much.
How's this all go down?
Very much entrepreneurial thing. I actually, to be honest with you, how I came to Rockford, this is the 3rd team I've been with. I actually, when I was programming computers, wrote a business plan to own one of these teams. The master plan is for me to own one of these teams someday. So from an entrepreneurial standpoint, very much researching all the teams in the league, finding out, we got 3 pillars of revenue. You got your sponsorships, you got ticket sales, you got concessions. You also have merchandise, which is a smaller part of the revenue, but there's 3 main pillars of what we stand on. And then here I got non-league events as well, because we manage a stadium. So that's really cool. I got to get back to the base part of the question because I got sidetracked. So from a standpoint of how does it all get coordinated, we go to league meeting in September. The league is very stable. One of the things with our league that's different too about other leagues is our league is on the lease of every stadium. So if a team owner, let's just say he has a gambling problem and runs his team right into the ground, or has a real estate problem like one of the Riverhawks owners had at one time, and runs the team into the ground, the league will step in and take over. We had it happen once where our league stepped in, took over from the team, and paid $250,000 in bills around town to keep the team there and keep the market whole. And the market is very stable, very good right now. It's flourishing with a new ownership group. But we go to league meetings in September. We talk about the past season. Our league meeting is the knowledge, and Allison can attest to this, the knowledge that floats around our league meetings is unbelievable. We've got talented individuals in every city, and we got the guys talking about marketing. We got the guys talking about different ticketing techniques, sponsorship techniques with the facilities. So we do that. By about mid-November, we have our schedule for the following season. We have to get, all the different teams have different leases. Some have city-owned stadiums, much more tricky leases usually because they only have so many days. Like one of the teams I think has like 45 days that they can put their 36 home games in. So now they sit in a war room for like 3 days and do nothing but move around the schedule. And thank God the league does it because I don't want to have anything to do with that. But they'll do that, and then there's blackout dates, they have to go around all that stuff. But the league schedule comes out, and we'll have a winter meeting in January. Get all the teams together again in January. We touch base on all the new things coming up for the season, review some of the old things, talk about some of the new innovative ideas, and then it's here we go. Come marching in, and our team ramps up. Usually we start hiring staff in January, February, and then as it gets closer, we continue to add staff. Now we're up to, I got 3 kids that we hired just for the summer alone. We had 4 of us going into it. We broadcast all of our games in HD, so I brought on a guy that does nothing but, a former intern that does nothing but webcast. He's going to shoot commercials for us and do some media stuff. So we're coordinating all that along with, Allison's got a marketing calendar we're putting together and kind of marching through that. So we got a lot of stuff going on, but it's just a ton of coordination. And it doesn't get done with one person. It gets done with a team of people pulling together, and it's really interesting every year. Every year's a little different. You don't know what you have until it gets here. And I think this year we're sitting pretty good. I think we're ahead of everything. Granted, the weather's been a challenge. Still love to get some more sponsors on our wall. Still have to get more people out to the ballpark, obviously. So all those things come into play, but things are coming together.
Awesome. Well, let's give Chad another hand for his presentation.
Thank you.
The fourth and final question we do ask every presenter is, what can we do for you?
Come out to my games. Come out to our games. Support the Rivets. Bring friends, bring family, bring your coworkers. Just come out and support it. Give us a try. I mean, this gold card makes it so easy to give you a try. I mean, I got a deal here in June. I can't even read it anymore, but
hold on.
It's
Anything like you want to see this?
there. That'd be perfect.
Be good.
47, and it happened. I had to go to Cheaters. We got the.
They're bifocals. You have to maybe rotate your head.
That you know what? That helped a lot. We got 4 tickets for $10 on Monday through Thursday night game in June. I mean, if anybody says that they can't afford to come out to our game, not true. We've got great ticket deals going on. Concessions are reasonable. You're not paying a $9 beer, so it's all good. Come out to our games, please.
Plus, you're just a lot of fun.
I try to be.
You try to be fun.
I just be me.
All right. Well. I'm not going to ask you to dump your coffee in this mug yet, but
I'll probably take the leftovers on the way out the door. I'll need it today.
we do present this 1 Million Cups coffee mug to everybody who's
thank you.
brave enough to stand up here.
Thank you. It's like a trophy.
It is like a trophy. It's a coffee coffee mug trophy.
Coffee mug trophy.
Yes.
But yeah, please talk to Allison or myself and make sure you take a few of these, whatever. I got more in the car.
Yes.
Take some pocket schedules.
If you want to know what's on that card that we were so desperately trying to read, you need to come up here. That's intriguing, isn't it? Jorge's going to come up here to find out what's on the card. All right. Well, speaking of Jorge, let's give Rockford Bank and Trust another hand for sponsoring the coffee. We do want to put this in front of you as well. If you want to hear the events again, you'll have to catch the live stream. It's on YouTube. Also, the next 1 Million Cups, May 29th. Exciting stuff here. Paul Logley is going to be presenting a United Way panel discussion on charitable giving. You're sure to learn something with that. Plus, there's going to be free coffee here. And a word just to those of you who are in this space. This isn't for those of you on the live stream. This is the secret. You know how we talk about the parking police, who probably get no love from anyone? They walked by already, so you have an hour and a half to leave. We have an 8-minute video that's going to be playing. You're also welcome to stand up and greet your neighbor and have a wonderful 80-degree Wednesday here in the Rock River Valley. Thanks for coming.